This, guys, just real quick, is the 8S truck. I am running this truck on 8S 2 4-cell batteries, and I am using a Hobbywing Max5 and a Hobbywing 800 kV motor. Now, guys, what I want to show you guys how to do exactly is how to install this mod 1.5 gearing. Now, I've already have the mod 1.5 gearing in there. I just have a different ratio. Right now I am running a 30-tooth pinion and a 35-tooth spur. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that 35-tooth out, and we're just going to put... Alright, guys, so there's a couple of ways to do this, like I said. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do, because I just want to make things easier, is I'm just going to take these shocks off. And what we're going to do, guys, we're going to unbolt the shocks. Now, just make sure you got a spot to stick your screws so you're not losing your screws. I always take the lid to my toolbox. I don't have a special PnwRc mat yet, even though guys hate just reaching out there to PnwRc. I'd love to have a mat. That'd be great. I see a lot of guys using those mats. So first thing, guys, like I said, we're just going to take the shocks off. Now, I did take this to the beach, and I've been pretty busy, and I did not do the greatest job. I didn't do the greatest job rinsing everything all off. It's starting to see some rust, which I don't like to see at all. This whole truck's going to be due for another teardown because I see rust. So when you do take your trucks to the beach, make sure you guys get the whole thing clean. That sandy, salty water does not do these trucks any good. And when I say these trucks, guys, I mean any RC car. So in order to get the shocks off, guys, you're just going to take 2 screws out of each shock, top and bottom, and then there's these pins. I just like to take an old tool I've sharpened down as my poker, and I just push them right out the back. And then in the shock, you're going to push it right out the front. So take all the pins out, and then your shocks come right off. Kind of just get those out of the way.
So, guys, we need to get the stock chassis unbolted, or if you have one of these aluminum chassis braces, you gotta unbolt that. Pull that up and out of the way. And what we're trying to do, guys, is just get to that spur gear and pinion gear. Now, I do have the upgraded screw kit just going in.
Holding this chassis brace on. Guys, leave a comment below if this does help you out. Please, if you do watch this, please also do subscribe. There's a little button right there in the corner, right by... There's a little button right there, right by her head. You can push the button and subscribe, guys. So big thumbs up for that. Do like, share with your buddies. Not dead. So we're gonna unbolt the top shock tower, and it looks to be there are 4 bolts. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So we got 4 bolts holding the shock tower in.
These are all, guys. Make sure you pay attention to where these bolts come out, okay?
You can always download an exploded view onto your phone and save that so you know exactly what screws to put back where. I know sometimes I've gotten in a hurry and I've put the wrong screws in the wrong spot. So there we go, guys. Just make sure that you recognize where those 2 go. Okay. Alright, guys, so once you got these top screws out, there's 4 of them to take out, and you got your 2 chassis brace screws out. You got 1 on each side. You're going to unscrew the bumper. There's 2 screws for that. Okay, make sure you remember what size those are. Guys, I see an entire rebuild coming on this truck. I took it to Ocean Shores about a month ago, and I thought that I cleaned it. good, but there's no such cleaning that's better than tearing the whole truck down. So I'm gonna do a complete teardown of this truck. Comment below, guys, if you want to see a complete teardown and rebuild. I'm finding some rusty screws.
And I'm not really proud of that. It's the first time I've ever taken a truck to the beach. I don't recommend it unless you have the time to actually pull your truck apart right away, because it's just not really worth it, guys. So once you got
the bumper screws out, guys, I'm gonna take the screws out of the actual shock tower, and there's two of them. They hold the shock tower together, okay? And then there's a couple of more screws, guys, that you're gonna need to get out. You take the rear arms off. So we can unscrew these two screws for the rear arms. Make sure you don't lose the little plastic cap. Wow, look at all that sand. This truck is going to come apart before we drive it again. Before we get the 3030, guys. So we're almost there, guys, on how it's the easiest way to install these gears, okay? Easiest way to install the gears for the Xmaxx, period. Alright, so now once the screws are out of the back of the arms, I like to just take a pair of pliers and pull the pin out. That's pretty good. The pin doesn't look rusty, at least. That disconnects the arms from the shock tower. Now, guys, be careful when you take this apart.
there's a piece in here that you could possibly lose. Okay, so there you go, guys.
You're going to take the shock towers apart. And then what we have, let me get this camera right in here. Alright, guys, so check it out. So I just went ahead and I just removed the bottom skid plate, guys. I didn't have to remove the skid plate, but I went ahead and removed the bumper, okay? And I got the camera just kind of sitting right here so you can see what's going on. Now, guys, instead of trying to unmount and mount your motor mount every time to mesh your gears, I take the front of the truck off. That way you can just reach everything right straight here from the front. So right straight away seems to be the easiest. So the first thing we're going to do, guys, these gears do come with 2 grub screws, which is amazing. And you're going to, I like to stick one right on the flat spot on the motor shaft, and then, you know, obviously you just crank the other one down nice and hard. And don't forget to Loctite these screws, okay? Now, I've been running these gears for quite some time. I got quite a few packs, and I can show you how to mesh that too as we're putting it back together. So just real quick, guys, we'll finish getting this, we'll get the spur off and we'll get the pinion off, but first we need to take off this plate for the transmission. So let's get that plate off. When you remove this plate, guys, it's going to allow you to pull the spur gear right out. And I do have one more recommendation for you guys that are going to be running these big 800 kV motors, 1100 kV motors. This piece right here, I would suggest getting this one piece aluminum for sure, guys. So you want that to be aluminum. There's just a lot more torque. So right now we're a 35 tooth spur and a 30 tooth pinion, and we're going to go 1-to-1. So let's keep going. We'll loosen up the pinion. This is not good, guys. I hear sand in my truck. I'm just going to tear the whole thing apart. Listen to that. It's got to go through the wash, guys. Alright, there we go. So we got the 30. We're going to put this one back on, but we're just going to take it off for now just to kind of get it out of the way. So check this out. We got the cap off the transmission, we got the spur gear off the motor shaft, and look how easy it is, guys. You just pull this right out. Just pull it right out. So what I'm gonna do next, I'm just going to make sure that I get the bearing, or not the bearing, I'm going to get the pin out of the shaft. Okay, and I'm going to install that on the new spur shaft. Okay, guys. And then just make sure you reapply your gear. Alright. This thing drops right in. Right back into place. Alright, so guys, you just want to make sure you get put your gear back on. Okay. Put your bearing back on. Do make sure that you're Loctited down. And then this just drops right into place. Literally drops right into place. Okay. Now guys, you're going to go ahead and reinstall your spur gear cover. This is the best way to install these Mod 1 gears. Now, once you have this open, now you can obviously make sure that your pinions are backed out, or your grub screws are backed out. I'm going to take these out and put some more Loctite in. Okay guys, I'm going to make sure that I get this thing lined up nice and straight. It's not quite there yet. Okay, we're going to line it up. Now, what I should have done first though is I should have... So before I stuck this on here, guys, I should have loosened up my motor screws. So we'll loosen these up. And they're super tight. You don't want none of this coming loose, guys. These gears are expensive. Make sure that one of your... Okay, so now this is what I do, guys. When I check the mesh for the pinion and the spur, I don't do the paper trick. I don't do that anytime, guys, but this is what I do. All right. Actually looks really good right there. Now I'm gonna back this off and tighten the motor down so that you guys can see this test.
Alright, so make sure that the grub screws on the flat spot. You got your
Loctite in there. Now the test really, guys, is a sound test, and what I like to do is I like to hold the spur or hold the pinion and wiggle the spur. Now that little slight noise right there, without looking at it, that sounds perfect to me, guys. Now I might be able to go just a fuzz bigger, or I mean a fuzz closer for the mesh backlash, but I think that we're gonna leave it right there, guys. So that's it. It's pretty simple. Instead of fighting getting the mount on and off, guys, there's no reason to fight getting this mount on and off, because otherwise you just have to take the truck and you got to flip it over, and then you got to guess, and it's not any fun. So just take the front of the truck off. Really, it's just these pieces right here. Okay, separate your shock tower. You don't have to take the skid off, just take the rear bumper off and you're good to go. So guys, I'm going to get the truck cleaned up and put back together, and that's it. So please guys, do leave me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button down in the corner, share this video, guys. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Later. Whoosh.